if you're trying to save your marriage, this one characteristic can either be the difference between moving forward and progressing and saving your marriage or ending up in a divorce. So make sure you watch this entire video, and I'll talk you through this particular characteristic, but I'll also talk you through the steps that you need to take in order to be able to move forward and not let this characteristic ruin everything for you. Now, I know you're going through such a difficult time right now. You wouldn't be watching this video if you weren't. But I want you to know there is hope. I want you to know that transformation is real, and people like Angie and Michelle and Sarah and Rochelle and all these incredible women that I've worked with over the years who've been able to create shifts in their marriage within themselves really did a lot of the deep dive work. They really tried to become aware of what's going on the inside. They took the necessary steps they needed to in order to move forward. And I know that you can do the same thing. So, make sure that you watch this entire video so that you get the most out of it, and that you apply the practical strategies that you need to apply in order to get the results that you're looking for in your life. And make sure you hit that subscribe button below and click on that bell notification as well, so every week you get access to my latest videos where you get to learn a little bit about male psychology and relationships. You learn how to heal from infidelity and really do whatever you can to be able to maximize your chances of saving your marriage if that's something that you're wanting to do right now. Now, over the last decade where I've been working with women from all over the world, there is a really, really common theme. And that common theme is that often people come to me when a marriage is on its very last legs. Very rarely do people work on it maybe when it's, 25 to 50% bad. They always wait till it's 100%. Where it's just really on its last legs, or where the husband has maybe said, look, I want a divorce, or where there's been infidelity or something like that. It's always towards the very end of it. And that's something that hurts my heart, to be perfectly honest, because, a lot of changes can be made a lot earlier, which kind of begs the question, why is it as human beings that we always wait to the very last minute for things to try and change? Going back to our school days, why is it that we waited to the very last minute before we actually studied for an exam? Why is it that we, waited to the very last minute before submitting a paper? It happens in so many areas of our lives, our health, our finances, our career. Why is it that we wait to the very last minute? And it all really comes down to this one internal characteristic. And think of it as a personality trait. And it's called the saboteur. See, the saboteur is a part of us. And we all, within ourselves as human beings, we have what we call different archetypes, or different sort of sub-personalities. We have the rescuer, we have the warrior, we have the king, we have the princess, and all these different parts of us. And one of them is also the saboteur. And essentially what the saboteur does is, it's that part of us that kind of sits there and goes, who are you kidding? You can't do that. Even though you may have the skills to be able to do something, you can't do that, you can't achieve that. Or, seriously, you think you're going to get out of debt? No way, there's no chance, you're going to stay in debt. Or you think you're going to lose that weight? No chance. And this is often why what happens is when people try and achieve their goals in life, whether it be in saving their marriage or improving their finances or improving their health or whatever, they will get to a certain point. Things will start to improve. And then what will happen is after a while, maybe a year later, or even, it doesn't even have to be that long, it could even be a month later or 6 months later or whatever. What will happen is they'll sabotage it. And then they'll go back to where they were, whether it be, being back in debt or staying overweight, whatever it is. That's what happens. We sabotage our ability to be able to move forward. And not just move forward, but to sustain that level that we want. Does that sound familiar? Because I know in my life, it absolutely has played a huge part. It has affected so many areas of my life. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. If you've been experiencing this, write down your experiences below in the comments section. I'd love to hear more about what your experiences have been. And I'll make sure I give you a couple of pointers as well to be able to move forward here. But if we think about the saboteur, it really consists of two important parts. And two experiences, if you like. Now, the first part of the saboteur is those experiences where we want to achieve something, but there's that voice inside that goes, who are you kidding? There's no way you can do that. You can't do that. You've never been able to do anything. And even though as human beings our potential is unlimited, there's that voice inside that goes, you're joking. Like, there's no way on earth that you'll be able to do that. And that is something that plagues a lot of individuals. So that's the first part of the saboteur. And the second part of the saboteur is something that's a little bit less conspicuous and less obvious. And it really comes in the form of, we start to make changes in something. We may start to improve our finances or improve our relationships or improve our health. But there's a deeper belief over the years inside of us at a subconscious level that goes, you're not good enough. You know, I'm not good enough to be able to achieve this. I'm not good enough to be able to experience those sorts of results. And we've been so used to operating in a way where we're inferior, where we're inadequate, where we're not good enough. And that's just been the constant story in our lives. And so even if we start to get momentum, a subconscious part of us is going to step in and start to draw in or manifest experiences that are going to result in us going back to where we were. So you might, lose a lot of weight. You might lose a lot of weight over 6 months. But then over time, what happens? A couple of months later, you slowly start piling it back on. And then that reinforces that internal belief of, see, you can't sustain it. But what it does is it gives us a sense of comfort. Not comfort that we enjoy it, but comfort that that's just something that we're used to. We're used to operating in that particular way. Now, it happens to all of us. Like I say, I've had this many a time in my life. There were times where I'd start to do really well in my sports or, finances or career, and then something would happen. I'd question it a little bit, or it might feel a little bit empty when I got some of those results, and then sure enough, whoop, and then I'd plummet back down. And I'd go, oh. But in a weird way, I would almost be like, okay, this sort of feels more like where I've been over the years. So it was almost a sense of comfort. And I've mentioned this before in other videos, but it's almost like for those people who win lotteries, they come in there with the mindset of not having a lot of money. Then they stumble across, hundreds of millions of dollars. And then they don't know, their identity hasn't shifted to the point at which they embody that person who is okay with hundreds of millions of dollars and can handle the responsibilities and the pressures and all that stuff. So what do? They become suicidal. They go into depression. They don't know how to manage their money, so they end up losing it, and so on. So there's lots of things that play up in terms of the human psyche. And the saboteur is one of the most important parts. Now, in relation to your marriage, the reason why I point this out is because so many people, as I've said before, come to me when it's, really, really on its last legs. And then they're sort of expecting a bit of a Houdini job to try and create that shift. And whilst a lot of my clients have been able to do that, it's so much easier if you can address it earlier. As soon as there's a moment where there's a problem, as soon as you start to see some patterns, boom, you've got to do something. And that's the time where you've really got to step up and actually say, look, I need to try and improve this. I need to grow this. I need to take this to a new level. I don't want to settle for mediocrity. I want to create something that's extraordinary, something that stands out. And not something that you're trying to do for other people, but stands out in terms of a new standard that you're wanting to set for yourself. Relationships are magnificent when you've got a great one. But when they're not going well, they just suck the very life out of you. Because it's not just a problem that you deal with at work or whatever. It's all the time. You're dealing with some problem on some level, whether it's heaviness, whether it's silence, whether it's arguments, whether it's disappointment, whatever it is. You have to deal with that on a regular basis, and it creates so much pain. And I've been there before myself, so I understand it. But I want you to know that, if you can start to become aware of the saboteur and recognize the power that it can have, then you can start to take it forward and start to move forward in terms of your circumstances. Now, how do we do that? How do we go about sort of quietening down the saboteur? Well, there's 3 really important steps that I'm going to talk you through now. And once you start to apply these, and just take a very, very simple and slow approach with this, it's often years and years of programming internally within the mind and within our emotions. So we can start to create some shifts on this front. It can totally transform the quality of your life. Now, the first step is just becoming aware of it. So you're doing that right now when you're watching this video. When you become aware of something, you start to be able to use your mind to be able to put strategies and so forth in place. But often we're kind of running unconsciously, we're running subconsciously on a lot of levels. And because we're running subconsciously, that's where problems arise, because we're not even sure what the hell's going on. But even just becoming aware and going, wow, geez, I'm actually aware of this now. Like, I get this pattern, I understand how it's been playing out in my life and how problematic it's been. Fantastic. That can be a little light bulb moment for you. So that's the first step. The second step is to get to a place of acceptance. Okay? Sometimes what can happen is people are aware of the fact the saboteur is in play, or even other behaviors, but they're like, oh no, I can't believe I've got this part of me. Like, why is this happening to me? Why can't I just get rid of it? So they're resisting what is. They aren't accepting of what is. Think of it like grief. When someone passes away, it's obviously an extremely difficult time to go through. And those initial phases is the resistance to it. You're like, I don't know what to do. Like, I can't believe he or she is gone. I don't know what to do. There's a resistance there. But when you get to a place of acceptance, it's obviously not easy still, but you can move forward and heal through it much quicker. But it's the resistance that we find the hardest. So when we're resisting the saboteur, when we're resisting certain behaviors inside, we're going, oh, I hate that part of me. It keeps showing up. It's so frustrating. But if you can get to a place where you just say to yourself, I accept these emotions, I accept these beliefs as they are, and I allow them to be just as they are, and you genuinely make peace with it, then it'll allow you to move forward. Now, the key thing with this is that you not only have to mentally rehearse that to yourself and just say to yourself, I accept these emotions and I accept these beliefs as they are, and I allow them to be just as they are, but you also have to allow yourself to feel those emotions on the inside. So if I'm feeling like I'm not good enough, I've got to allow myself to feel that. Where in my body am I feeling that? Is it in my stomach? Is it in my chest? Whatever it is, just feeling those emotions is really important. Being at peace and accepting those emotions is really, really key. And then the third step that you want to take then is to either use pain or pleasure to motivate you. Now, what that means is, think about how amazing your life will be if you are able to release and let go of the saboteur, to let it go completely. Think about what your life will be like in a month or 2 months or 6 months or a year or 2 years, and write it down on a piece of paper. Write down in as much detail as you can, what would that feel like? And see if that motivates you, see if that drives you, see if that makes you go, yep, oh my God, that would be amazing. I can't wait to go there. And allow yourself to be motivated by that energy. And what will happen is when you have that vision, you say, right, okay, in a month's time, we're going to start to connect more. In a couple of months' time, that connection's going to build and build and build. And we're going to look into each other's eyes, and we're going to have this incredible love for each other. And we're going to remember what it's like when we first got together and really rekindle those feelings again, and so on. And then you go 6 months from now, and then you might be saying, wow, we're just going to have this incredible relationship where our families are all connected beautifully again, and the kids are just happy and joyful, and we've got passion, we've got so much love, we love going on date nights every week, all that stuff. And you just keep expanding that vision as much as you can. You either do that, or you use fear or pain to motivate you. Now, I'm not a huge fan of always using fear and pain to motivate us, but sometimes we do need it. So you might say to yourself, what will life be like in a month? What will life be like in 6 months or a year if I do nothing right now, if I keep going on this path that I'm on? Well, in a month from now, our connection's going to just diminish greatly. He's probably not going to really want to just spend any time with me. He's probably going to want to go and hang out at work all the time, or hang out with his friends and play sports. It's going to continue to have an impact on me. I'm going to feel even worse. I'm probably going to lose some weight or gain weight. I'm going to just emotionally be a real mess. I'm not going to be able to focus on my work. I may have problems at work, and so on. You can even in those situations, sometimes bringing up the amount of pain on the inside that you're going to experience, not just internally but also circumstantially, looking at it from that perspective can motivate us to go, look, there is no way I'm going down that path. I've got to change. I've got to shift. I've got to create that transformation right now. And it starts right now. And I'm being a little bit direct with you because sometimes, we've got to actually be direct in order to get that message across. You've got to focus on transformation. Letting things just glide along, it very rarely works. And it only leads to more problems. And because we're often used to so much pain, what happens? We just keep going down that path and go, see, that's just what happens. And I don't want that for you. So if you're really looking to try and, maximize your chances of saving your marriage and really, really taking your life to a whole new level, then I'd love to be of service to you as well. So if you are feeling like you need that support, just in the description section below, just click on that link which says book a call with me. Just click on that link, choose a time, and what I'll do is I'll explain to you a little bit more about how I work with my clients, how I'm able to help them move forward, the process that I take you through. And if it feels like a great fit, then we work through the details, get you on board, and you can connect with not only me, but a beautiful community of women who are going to be by your side, holding your hand virtually to be able to create the shifts that you're looking for in your life. It's real, transformation is real, and I want you to have that experience. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've liked it, make sure you hit that like button below. If you want to get more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. And do let me know what your biggest takeaway is from this video as well. If you have any questions on any level, just write them below and I'll make sure I respond to every single one of you. And if you want to learn whether no contact is the right option for you right now during a separation, click this video above. And if you want to learn how to stop emasculating your man, click this video above. Thank you so much. God bless, and I'll talk to you in the next video.